Hey everyone, my name is Kevin and welcome back to the channel. In this channel we make a bunch of random fitness and food videos, and I have been coaching for a couple of years, writing workouts for my loved ones, my friends, and different clients over the couple of years. And the number one asked question is, how much do I eat? What are my macros? What are macros and how do I break it down? So I wanted to make a very simple version of how to get your macros and how much that you need to eat in this video, and I'm going to break it down into 6 sections. So first, I want to let everyone know that everyone is different. The macros that work for me is not going to work for you. So you're going to have to get the baseline and tweak it on your own later down the road. Number 2, know what your goal is. Are you bulking? Are you cutting? Or do you just want to maintain your body weight? Next, we're going to find out what your daily caloric needs are, then break down your macros, and then I'm going to tell you a little about how you can make your own tweaks later down the road. And then lastly, patience. You're going to need to stick to one macro for a couple weeks so that your body can get acclimated to those numbers, because your body wants to be where it's comfortable, and if you try to lose weight or gain weight, it's going to fight against you. So be patient. So let's dive into it and see what you need to do in order to bulk, cut, maintain, and what your daily caloric needs are going to be. Oh, and before we get started, I just want to let you know that I'm not a nutritionist or a dietitian. However, I have been counting macros for years now, and I have been helping people out over the couple of years, and this is what has worked for me and worked for them. A little bit of background information before we get started. So for protein, each gram of protein is going to be 4 calories per gram. Fat is going to be 9 calories per gram, and carbs is going to be 4 calories per gram. And I put it in this order because this is how we're going to find out our macros in that order. Now, let's go ahead and find our daily caloric needs. So here's deficit, baseline, and surplus. In order to get the right number for you, you need to know what your goals are going to be. So I'm going to use me as an example. I want to bulk for my competition that's coming up next year. So I need to find out what my baseline is going to be first. In order to find your baseline, this is going to be the simple equation that you're going to use. You're going to use your body weight, multiply that by your activity level, which is going to be between 14 through 16. So for 14 are the people who are going to be having a desk job, who's very sedentary, who might have a long commute, that only works out maybe 2-3 times a week for 30 minutes to an hour at a low intensity. Now, the 16, on the other hand, are the people who have a very active lifestyle or active profession. So people like nurses who are on their feet for 12 hours a day, who have manual labor and so on. Me being a college student and working out pretty hard for 5-6 times a week, I'm just going to go right in the middle and use 15. So what I'm going to do is use my body weight, 185 pounds times 15. That is going to give me 2775. So I got 2775. That is going to be my baseline. So from there, I said before, I want to bulk. So in order to get to that point, you're going to want to add between 200 to 500 calories to your baseline. Of course, if you're a smaller individual, you're not going to be taking out 500 calories in order to cut or in order to bulk, because you don't have enough calories to work with anyways, right? So for me, I'm going to add 500 to this number. That is going to give me 3275. So I added 500 to my baseline, and that's going to give me my surplus calories. That's going to be 3275. That's going to be my daily caloric intake for my bulking plan. Now, if I wanted to do a cut, for example, I'm going to subtract about 500 calories from that, and that's going to give me 2275. That's a little low, so maybe I'll do 200 or 300 instead. So going back to the bulking. Now, let's use this calorie to get how much protein that we're going to need on the daily basis. Now we're going to get into protein. And the baseline, the general prescription is going to be 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight, just to simplify everything. However, let's go to the left here. If you're new to lifting, you never worked out before, anything like that, you're just about to start, or if you're unhealthy and obese, you're not going to need as much protein All right, so you're going to get 0.75 gram of protein per pound of body weight. Next, if you come all the way over here, if you're in competition prep, if you're already very lean and you're trying to get even leaner, you're going to eat 1.25 grams of protein per body weight. You want to hold as much muscle as possible while you're cutting down, so you're not losing any unnecessary lean body mass. You don't need to go any heavier or any more than this, in my opinion, because your body's not going to be able to digest it and use it anyways. It's going to be stored to fat or use it for something else, so it's pretty unnecessary. So for me, I'm just going to do 1 gram per pound of body weight. It's going to be 185 grams of protein, and I'll put that right over here and multiply that by 4, because protein, again, is 4 calories per gram. All right, so wrapping up protein, I had 185 grams of protein a day. Multiply that by 4, which is going to give me 740 calories out of that 3275. Now let's dive into fat. If you are a lover of carbs, meaning you want majority of your calories coming from carbs, you want to enjoy those carb sources, go ahead and pick 20% of your daily intake from fat. Now, if you love fat, you like those avocados, nuts, peanut butter, and so on, go ahead and take 30% of your daily caloric intake from fat. If you don't care, you just want a number to go off of, 25% of your calories coming from fat is a good place to be. Now, for me, I'm right in the middle here, so I'm going to pick about 27%, and I'll show you an equation to get your caloric and your grams for your daily fat. All right, with the information, I said I was going to eat about 27% of my daily caloric intake into fat. So right here, I got my total calories, 3275. I multiplied that by 0.27 for 27%, and I got 884.25 calories. Now from there, you're going to divide that number by 9, because every gram of fat is going to be 9 calories. That is going to give me 98.25 grams of fat. So to make it easier, I'm just going to round down to 98. So right up here, fat's 98 grams of fat multiplied by 9 again. That is going to give me 884 calories. So from there, we're going to dive into the easy part, and which is going to be our carbs. Right here, we got our daily caloric intake, 3275. 740 calories of that coming from our protein, and then 884 calories coming from our fat. So after you subtract those from our total, you're going to get 1651 calories for me, and you're going to divide that number by 4, because why? We have 4 calories per gram of carbs, right? We're going to get 412.75 grams of carbs. I'm just going to round that up to 413 grams of carbs right over here. So that is going to be my total number to eat every single day. 185 grams of protein, 98 grams of fat, and 413 grams coming from carbs. Now from here, you got your base numbers. Again, going back to my first point, everybody reacts to their numbers in a different way, right? You're going to stick to this base number for maybe 2 to 3 weeks and see if your body is changing the way you want it to. So if I'm wanting to bulk, I'm expecting my numbers to increase for my body weight from about half a pound to a pound every single week. If you're cutting, vice versa. Now, let's say 2 weeks from now, my body weight only goes up to 85.2, which means that my body is hit a plateau and doesn't want to go anywhere. So from here, what I'm going to do is just leave my protein and fats alone to simplify everything and just adjust my carbs. And what I'm going to do is add between 20 to 30 grams of carbs. You can multiply that by 4 to get your caloric intake, and see how my body reacts to that. So my body should be in an extra surplus of calories, so it should be going up from week to week to week. Now if you're on a cut, you're going to be decreasing your carbs by, again, 10, 20, 30. Make small adjustment and you should see your body continue to lose weight. Now let's say you don't want to give up any more carbs. You could mess with the fats a little bit, but then again, you need fat in your diet so that you can produce your hormones right, you can digest your vitamins right, and your body can function to the way it should. If you take too much fat away, it could hinder that. So this again is a very simple way to get your macros, get your calories. If you have any other questions, if this didn't make any sense, or if you want to talk about it a little more, go ahead and comment down below. I would love to talk to you guys about that. And thank you for watching. If this video was helpful, please like and subscribe so you don't miss any more fitness and food videos. And I'm looking forward to connecting you guys soon.